Brandon Big B, are you with us?
And I'm here. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad that you called in because I wanted to talk to you about Sandy Hook again because, see, that hasn't gone away. And there's a lot of stuff. You know, the bombing hasn't gone away. Sandy Hook, the LAX shooting hasn't gone away. I mean, we've uncovered so much nefariousness in all of those things. But now you've developed a common thread between what's happened recently in Las Vegas and the Batman movie and Sandy Hook. They all have a common thread. Talk to us about this. This is fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. And I picked up on this almost immediately after this Las Vegas shooting. After I found out about it, I first heard of it early Monday morning. And you can, verify this. I immediately emailed you a link, and I said, we need to keep an eye on this. This is going to be used, because as I started reading the details of how this shooting supposedly happened, it's basically everything wrapped up in a box that this administration and the elites need to push the gun control issue.
Right.
So it immediately smelled bad to me from the get-go.
All right. Remind people about the Las Vegas incident. Even though that's the most recent, there are some people that have not heard yet, and then other people that heard but they've forgotten because so many other things have happened since then. So remind people about that, and then tell us this link.
Yeah, in Las Vegas, you have two individuals, a husband and wife, Jared and Amanda Miller, who are being billed by all mainstream media as right-wing extremists, domestic terrorists, Tea Party types, on and on it goes. But basically the narrative is this. They walk into a CC's Pizza. She shoots one cop in the back of the head, kills him instantly. Another cop tries to respond. They kill him with several gunshots and drape, are you ready for it, the symbol of the Tea Party, the Gadsden flag, over the two deceased cops' bodies.
Right, that's the "Don't Tread on Me."
Number one for me.
That's the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. So that was clue number one for you when they draped the Tea Party flag over the dead cops.
Yes, and then they apparently yell something to the effect of, "This is the beginning of the revolution," or "The revolution begins now."
Right.
All right. Clue number two.
Right. I got you.
Then they run out of CC's into a Walmart in the vicinity, fire a couple of shots in the air, tell people to get out. And this went very underreported. A concealed carry permit holder inside the Walmart attempts to stop them and is then killed by them before they supposedly kill themselves.
Right.
So, look, it could have been just the real deal, two crazy people hyped up on dope, and they do all of this. That's option number one.
Right.
But listen to these anomalies, okay? This crime happened in Harry Reid's district, okay, in his backyard.
Right.
Right after, during the whole scandal of the Bundy Ranch,
right,
Harry Reid gives this big press conference saying that supporters of people at the Bundy Ranch are, quote, domestic terrorists.
And I've got...
He even emphasized it by making fun and saying, I didn't say domestic tourist, I said terrorist.
Yeah.
So he was very clear about what his point was there.
Yes.
Okay? So then we have this crime of, quote, domestic terrorism conveniently happens in Harry Reid's backyard. During all of this, it comes out that, guess what? Jared and Amanda Miller were at the Bundy Ranch.
Yes, they were. We've got pictures of them there.
Supposedly they were run off from the Bundy Ranch by other people because they were a little bit... people didn't want them there. They didn't adhere to the same ideas and values that everyone else is. That smells of a plant.
Some people smelled that they might be plants, that they were invaders. What's the word I'm looking for? Insurgents.
Infiltrators.
Yeah, infiltrator. There you go. There you go.
Now, the plot thickens. It turns out that while at the Bundy Ranch, conveniently, Jared Miller was interviewed by ABC News.
Huh.
So that his face would be all over television.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Now, they draped the officer's body in a Gadsden flag. They yell, this is the start of the revolution. They are tagged as, quote, white extremist and, quote, right-wing extremist.
Right.
Now, this was the one that got me the best. It exploded all over MSNBC, CNN, several other talk radio outlets, that these people were vehement followers of, are you ready for it?
I know.
Alex Jones, Ron Paul, and Rand Paul.
Right. And I'm surprised.
You're talking about three people that are maybe the most out front. Oh, and they linked him to Ted Cruz as well. So you're talking about 4 people that are maybe the most out front in fighting just the liberty movement as a whole right now. And these are the people that supposedly, these people that have murdered these 2 cops, done all these crazy things, are vehement supporters of.
Right.
It's all wrapped up in a nice little box, tightly wrapped up with a bow on it, and handed over to the Obama administration. Go get the gun.
How's that connected to Sandy Hook and Batman?
Well, it turns out that these 2 often dressed up as Batman characters. Now, where do we hear that from?
Yeah.
Okay, think back with me. Aurora, Colorado, the Batman shooting at the release of The Dark Knight. The guy who supposedly shot up the theater was dressed up as the Joker.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now, Sandy Hook shootings. We know that before the release of The Dark Knight, there was some advertising paraphernalia that went out about Dark Knight Rises with a map that named Sandy Hook on the map.
Yeah.
And the name of that had been changed from earlier versions of the film's name. Okay?
Right.
During the Dark Knight movie, there's 2 gentlemen standing in the press box number 322. No coincidence there.
Right.
And they're having a conversation. Many people speculate that conversation was a foreshadowing of the Sandy Hook event. Okay? Now, just a couple of weeks ago, we see the son of the assistant director of the Hunger Games films shoot up the UC Santa Barbara campus. And now, what you say? Well, what does that have to do with Batman or Sandy Hook? Guess where the author of the Hunger Games trilogy books lives?
Where?
Newtown, Connecticut.
No, he doesn't. You're lying to me.
Yes. Yes.
Good gracious.
So, my question is this. Is the Batman movie the new trigger, the new catcher in the rye, if you will?
Right.
That we know many assassins of the past, that was their trigger mechanism, or is suspected at least that many of them had fascinations with that book.
Yeah. Well, tell people about that, because there are a lot of people listening that don't understand what Catcher in the Rye is about in that connection.
Yeah. Catcher in the Rye is a book from the past. Several famous assassins, I've got several listed here, we've had somewhat of a fascination with that book. Mark David Chapman that killed John Lennon, Lee Harvey Oswald that killed JFK, John Hinckley that attempted to kill Ronald Reagan, James Earl Ray that assassinated MLK, and Sirhan Sirhan that killed RFK.
Right.
All had somewhat of a fascination with this Catcher in the Rye book.
Right.
Now, as we look back on history, a lot of evidence that come out that every one of those assassins I just named to you were some type of asset of some type of black ops programs and may have in fact been put in place by the government.
Right.
So is Batman the new trigger, or is Batman just that demonic and that dark of a movie that it ties people into this, this whole killing and murder and suicide deal?
Yeah. Well, see, if you were sitting here in the studio with me, as you do when you co-host, we would be donning our tinfoil hats right now, except for the fact that you and I both are unashamed to come from a biblical worldview, and we do understand the dark side. There is a real dark side, and the fact that the book of Ephesians chapter 6 talks about that our battle's not against flesh and blood, but against demonic powers in high places. And,
That's right.
And we understand that. So, no, your analysis, I think, is spot on. It's either a catcher in the rye kind of thing, or it's what we would call a human coincidence, but you and I know that there are deeply spiritual principles tied to what most people would call human coincidences.
Yeah. Well, and look, here's the deal. Here's the sad truth. Let's just look at Las Vegas. 4 people lost their lives. 2 police officers, seemingly innocent, eating lunch, both have families, and then these 2 individuals that, apparently did the shooting. So there's 4 dead people, 4 dead lives, okay?
Right.
4 lost lives. Now, no matter what happened there in Vegas, the Millers were a subject of some type of mind control, if you will.
Right.
Either at the deepest, darkest levels of some CIA black ops program, or they just bought into the lies of the world and of Satan that you just talked about.
Right. And
either way, they were under some type of mind control.
And they were on psychotropics, weren't they?
It was their neighbors. Several neighbors said that they suspected them of being on methamphetamine.
Psychotropics, I think it's how it's pronounced. Yeah. Psychotropics. Yeah. No. And what is it, like 75% of all the mass murderers in the last 30, 40 years have been linked to psychotropic drugs?
I think it's higher than that. But check this out. I want to end this segment up with this. Look, if these guys, if they did just do this, there's nothing nefarious, nothing deep and dark behind the scenes on this. think of this. It's being blamed on the Liberty Movement, on the Tea Party, on us right-wing extremists.
Right.
Do you go around and dress up like the Joker?
No. And
do you smoke meth?
no.
Does your wife go around and dress up like Batman characters?
No.
Do you go out to shoot policemen on a regular basis?
Not in a long time.
So wait a minute. You, a major spokesman, I would say, of the Liberty and Tea Party movement in this country, don't have anything in common with these people that are being linked
Nope,
to
never,
that kind of activity?
Never even flew the "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
So it's a plight of the media to twist it to be that.
It seems like it. Seems like it. Well said, Big B. Well said. We got to take a